Thank you.
Senator Kim.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you to the three of you for coming on out here. I'm Senator Andy Kim from New Jersey. When I've gone around New Jersey and talked to a wide array of people in terms of some of our objectives, what are we trying to achieve when it comes to a border, when it comes to immigration, a couple of things came up over and over again. Number one, about making sure that we can provide security for our nation, keeping our communities safe, our families safe. Two, addressing the migrant backlog, just the amount of pressure that we're feeling in different towns, communities, cities all over the country. And three, about how do we try to have an orderly process. I think everyone is in agreement. We are a sovereign nation. We should have control over our sovereign borders, whether air, land, or sea. And so, you know, I try to approach this in that kind of lens, and I appreciate your thoughts on other types of categories to kind of think through. But, you know, Mr. Isaacson, I think I'd like to start with you. You know, when it comes to the security, I mean, I think you made a compelling argument about some of the challenges faced by the cartels. But as Mr. Cuccinelli, Mr. Arthur, and others have also articulated, we continue to face these challenges with cartels now. It wasn't just unique to that moment where Remain in Mexico is in place. So I guess I wanted to just ask you, in particular, when it came to the Remain in Mexico period, how did that affect our security specifically? I heard a lot about the atrocious behaviors and how it affected those that were waiting, but was there a particular effect on us there, or is it just cumulative? I mean, we are experiencing a lot of that problems right now from cartels. Was there something unique about that moment that Remain in Mexico empowered the cartels to be able to achieve?
I'd say both during the Remain in Mexico period and also since, when you've seen this larger surge of migration under in the Biden years, you've seen cartels get wealthier. You've seen them consolidate. You've seen, rather than smugglers just paying a fee for the right to be in a territory, the cartels themselves were taking over that territory, which made them more wealthy. How does that affect us in the United States? Really, it's more indirect. Having wealthier cartels who can reinvest in more criminal activity that ultimately crosses the border affects us. We have not seen what you would call spillover violence or cartels actually carrying out their hits or their kidnappings very much on the U.S. side. I think the same way they wouldn't do that in a wealthy neighborhood of Mexico City because they want to live there, they don't do anything on the U.S. side that would, they have their kids going to school here, et cetera. They also don't want to do anything that would trigger a border closure. So you don't always feel it in day-to-day life on the U.S. side, but you do feel it indirectly.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it. I mean, I don't want to linger too much on it because I think you've answered this. But I think, again, there's wide agreement across bipartisan about wanting to go after the cartels, making sure we have that security. You know, Mr. Isaacson, Mr. Cuccinelli, you both raised something in your remarks, you know, talking about that orderly process, addressing that migrant backlog, you know, more than one ways we can do that. And Remain in Mexico tried to get at from one angle, but one thing that kind of seemed to stretch across is that need for some type of orderly process, whether increase in judges or other aspects of that try to shorten that timetable, shorten the window so that we can try to adjudicate this, and that'll help bring down the backlog. So I guess I just wanted to ask each of you, you know, just is that an area that we can find agreement on? Is that a place where we can drill in on as a committee to be able to try to address this? Why don't we start, Mr. Isaacson, and make our way down?
I hope so. I mean, Section 208 of the INA says that if you are on U.S. soil and you fear for your life if you're returned, you do have the right to ask for asylum and get due process. Now, whether you're going to do that harshly or whether you're going to do that gently, right now you've only got 700 judges and 700 asylum officers, more or less, to do that entire backlog. And that we need more capacity. We have to.
Is everyone in agreement we need more than 700, Mr. Arthur?
Yeah, having been an immigration judge myself, I ran a very, very busy docket. My wife didn't see me much, neither did my son. But the important thing to keep in mind, Senator Kim, when you're talking about this is how effective detention is. If individuals know that they're going to be detained until they're actually granted asylum, people with bad asylum claims aren't going to come. That's good for two reasons. One, because it makes it easier for Border Patrol. Two, people who deserve asylum need to be allowed to restart their lives in the United States. A lot of them have family back home who are in danger too. As soon as we give you asylum, you can bring your family to the United States. But when I left the bench in 2015, the median detention time for people, basically the time it took to do their asylum claims, was 36 days. When you contrast that to 846 days or 1,013 days, what it's been in recent years, that's a problem. One of my facilities that I heard cases from was a family facility in Berks County, or Berks Shelter in Pennsylvania. And, you know, nobody wants to detain families, but it was the most humane situation you can imagine. If I say it looked like a college campus, my college campus didn't look that well. I went to UVA. So, I mean, it's truly, you could do it in a humanitarian manner, do it quickly, get it done. We need more resources. 730 judges isn't enough.
If I may, just very briefly, we heard talk about the CBP app and how you wait at home to do that. Well, really, that's what you should be doing with your application. You should be applying from your home country, and we should be leaving people in their home country or putting them back in their home country pending the outcome of any process to deter bad actors from coming, but also so that we're in a position to process the people who are playing by the rules and fitting within the boundaries of our laws as opposed to gaming them.